We continue now at the top of Daf Mem Bezim and Bezim Meseches Sukkah. This is Sukkah Daf 42b. The Brisa here continues talking about at what time is a katan obligated midrabanan in certain mitzvahs of chinuch. Hayodea lishchot. Once a katan reaches the age where he knows how to do shchita, ochlin mishchitaso, you're allowed to eat from his shchita. As Rashi over here says, Hayodea lishchot la'amin yadav l'shchita, meaning his hands, he's able to position them properly. Afa b'sheino baki b'hilcha shchita. Even though he's not an expert in hilcha shchita, you can still eat from his shchita. Why? Rashi says, Mutter lechol mishchitaso kedam Rav Huna, like Rav Huna is about to say, v'usha gadol omen al gabav. The case obviously is where there's an adult watching, v'rosh lo shav lo dars. He makes sure that he does the shchita halachically properly. As the Gemara says, Amar Rav Huna says, v'usha gadol omen al gabav. That's only true if there's an adult watching. If he's able physically to do the shchita properly, and the gadol watches and makes sure it was done properly, you can eat from such a shchita. Yachol lechol kazayis dagon. Now, when a katan reaches the age where he's able to eat a kazayis of grain, marchikin mitzawasu umeme raglav arbo amos. At that time, so his excrement and his urine, you have to stay 4 amos away when you're doing kriya shema davening. In other words, you have to treat it as you would by an adult. The tsoa and the mei raglav of an adult, you have to be 4 amos away. So to a child, once he's able to eat a kazayis of dagon, Amar Rav Chisda says, v'usha yachol la'ochlo b'chtei achilas pras. He's got to be able to eat it in the amount of time it takes to eat a half a loaf of bread. If you can eat it that quickly, then again, he's at the age where you have to be marchikin from tzawaso and meme ragla for kriya shema and tefillah. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Chia B'Reider Rav Yeva. Rav Chia B'Reider Rav Yeva says, Uvegadol, when it comes to an adult, Afa b'she'eno yachol lechol b'chtei achilas pras. Even if he's not able to eat the kazayis b'chtei achilas pras, you have to stay away from his tzoa and from mei raglav when you are saying kriya shema and tefillah. T'chsiv, like the pasuk says, v'yosef das yosef machav. One who increases wisdom or knowledge also increases sorrow. In other words, once you reach actual adulthood, so then these halachas are going to apply. As Rashi over here says, machov saro refers to here masriach, meaning again, it's going to have a bad smell. The meiraglayim and the tzoa is going to have a bad smell by any adult, no matter how fast he can eat the kazayis dagon. So therefore, you have to stay away dalet amos. And the brisa continues, yachol lechol kazayis tzli. Once the child reaches the age where he can eat a kazayis of roasted meat, shochten olav es pesach, you could shecht and he can be part of the group for Karban Pesach, as Rashi over here says, shochten olav es pesach. He can be one of the group because you have to shech the Karban Pesach for a specified group of people. If not. Has to be somebody who's able to eat such a thing. Only that person can be part of the group. So as long as he can eat a kazayis of tzli, you can make him part of the group. Shenemar, like it says, ish lefiyachlo, each according to the way he can eat. Rabbi Yehuda says, it's not enough to be able to eat the kazayis tzli. He also needs to be smart enough to discern what is food and what is not food. Kate said, how so? Nosen lo tzor v'zorko egos v'nolo. It has to be a child who has enough wisdom to understand that you give him a pebble, he throws it away. But you give him a nut, he takes it because he realizes it is food. Hadron aloch lulav hagazel. We will return to you, Perek lulav hagazel. If you're enjoying this channel and these videos, please take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. And please like, share, and subscribe. And we will now begin the next Perek of Meseches Sukkah. The fourth parak of Meseches Sukkah begins with the Mishnah, Lulav v'arava shisha v'shiva. When it comes to Lulav and arava, it can be 6 days, and sometimes it can be 7 days. Hahalel v'asimcha, when it comes to halal and when it comes to simcha, Rashi will explain all this. Shemona, that goes for 8 days. Sukkah v'nisach hamayim, when it comes to sitting in the sukkah, and when it comes to the mitzvah of pouring the water libations, Shiva, that is going to be 7 days. Hechalil, and when it comes to playing the flute in the Beis HaMikdash, Chamisha v'shisha, sometimes that will be 5 days, and sometimes that will be 6 days. And the Mishnah now explains. Lulav Shiva Ketzad. How is it that Lulav is 7 days, meaning in what scenario? So Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag Shechol Lios B'Shabbos. If the first day of Sukkot falls out on Shabbos, so then Lulav Shiva. Then you're going to have Lulav for 7 days, because as we said before, on the first day of Yom Tov, if that's Shabbos, you're still going to do Lulav. But if Shabbos falls out on any of the other days, Shabbos will actually cancel the mitzvah of Lulav. That's the next line over here. Ushar Kol Hayamim. If Shabbos falls out on any other day besides the first day, Shisha, then you're only going to have 6 days of Lulav, because you won't take the Lulav on Shabbos. And the Mishnah continues, Arava Shiva Ketzad. How are you going to have Arava for 7 days? So Yom Hashvi Shel Arava Shechol Lios B'Shabbos, the same idea. If the 7th day of Arava, if that falls out on Shabbos, so then Arava Shiva, then you take the Arava on Shabbos as well, it will be 7 days. Ushar Kol Hayamim. But again, if Shabbos falls out on any other day besides the 7th day of Sukkot, so then Shisha, then it's only going to be 6 days. And the Mishnah continues, Mitzvahs Lulav Ketzad, the mitzvah of Lulav in a situation where Yom Tov, the first day of Yom Tov, fell out on Shabbos. How would they fulfill the mitzvah? Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag Shecholios B'Shabbos, if the first day of Sukkot falls out on Shabbos, Molichanes Lulavein L'Harabayis, everyone would take their Lulav to Harabayis, to the Temple Mount. V'chazonim Mekablan Mehen, the Chazonim would receive it from them. V'sodun Osan Al Gabi Yitztava, they would arrange them on the benches. V'hazikenim Manichanes Shelahen Belishka, the elders, they would put theirs in the chamber. Umelamdim Osam Lomar, and they would teach them to say as follows: Kol mi shemagia lulavi liyado. They would teach everyone to say, anyone who gets my lulav, harehu lo b'matana, I give it to him as a gift, because as we said before, you can only fulfill the mitzvah the first day with your own lulav. So it should be given to the person as a gift, so he can fulfill the mitzvah. L'machar, the next day, mashkim and uvoin, everyone would get up and they would come. V'hachazonin zorkano sam lefneim, the chazonim would throw the lulavs in front of them. V'hein mechatfin umakin ishes chavero, and then they would try to grab and people would start hitting each other to get the lulavs. Uchesharo bezin shabod lidei sakana, when the bezin saw that this was starting to be dangerous, his skinu shei kol echad v'echad notel bebeso, they made a new takana that everybody should just take lulav and fulfill the mitzvah in his house. And Rashi over here explains lulav v'arava shein b'mikdash kol shiva. The idea over here in the Mishnah is lulav and arava in the Beis HaMikdash was a 7-day mitzvah. Lulav l'netila, lulav you would take it as a mitzvah. V'arava l'hakif mizbeach. The mitzvah by arava was they would surround the mizbeach with the aravas, with the alshanas. Kidel kaman b'pirkan, we're going to learn about that later in the parak. So shisha v'shiva, pamim shadochin Shabbos. Sometimes it would be docha Shabbos. Ve'in kol shiva, so it would be a 7-day mitzvah. Upamim shein dochin, sometimes it would not be docha Shabbos. V'avalu shisha yom, it would be a 6-day mitzvah. Ulakami mefarsh v'yazal, and the Mishnah goes on to explain all of this as we saw. Ha'halal ligmor kol shmona. So by halal, you would actually read that the full halal, all 8 days of Sukkot. Kein tiknu neviim harishonim ve'erchin. That's the takana by the neviim. It's an erchin, and then and in erchin they'll explain mefarish ma'ishnami pesach. In erchin explains why on Pesach do you not say full halal the whole Pesach, but on Sukkot we do. Because Sukkot, the carbon of each day is different, so therefore you say halal, full halal every single day. V'asimcha, what does it mean, simcha? Lechol b'sar shlamim. There's a mitzvah to eat the meat from shlamim. To kaim l'an b'psachim, we learn in psachim. B'zman shebeis hamikdash kaim ein simcha ela b'basar. Halacha is that when there's a beis hamikdash, the simcha is only with the meat of the shlamim. Shenemar, like it says, v'zavachta shlamim yachalta sham v'samachta. You're going to bring shlamim and you'll eat it, you'll be happy. Now, even though this pasuk is not written by the holidays, the high kra b'har grizim v'harevel ksiv. This pasuk is actually written by har grizim and harevel. Miu bergolim simcha ksiva, but it does use the word simcha by regel. V'samachta b'chagecha. It says v'samachta b'chagecha, and therefore we see there is this mitzvah of simcha. And again, as the Mishnah said, when it comes to simcha, just like halal, that's going to be a mitzvah for all 8 days of Sukkot. Sukkah leishe b'sukkah, mitzvah to sit in the sukkah. Nisach hamayim refers to b'tzmidei hachag shacharis. So when they brought the carbon tamid on the holiday, they would pour this water. That was the water libation that was only in the morning. V'lo arvis, not in the evening. Kenamrina b'seder yuma perak sheni. That's what we say in Seder Yuma. Hacholil, then there was the flute. What that refers to is Simchas Beis HaShoeva. They used to have what was called the Simchas Beis HaShoeva, a celebration that they had on Sukkot. Hayusmechem b'chag l'chavot she'ivas nisach hamayim. It was a celebration to honor the pouring, the libation of the water. U'mechalim b'chalilim of a kinoros, they would use musical instruments like flutes and harps. V'yoso chalil eino docha Yom Tov. Now, doing that, the flute, you couldn't do on Yom Tov. Hilkach pa'amim shu chamisha yomim b'chag. Sometimes it would only be 5 days that they could do the Simchas Beis HaShoeva, because you couldn't do the musical instruments on Yom Tov or Shabbos. Can go in Shaloch al Yom Tov Arishon b'Shabbos. For example, let's say Yom Tov didn't fall out on Shabbos. They came into Lo Docha Yom Tov v'Chol Shekein Shabbos. So now you have a situation, it's not Docha Yom Tov and it's not Docha Shabbos. So those days are all canceled. Sheh b'Chol Shamoed, so Pashlu Chamisha, all you have left is 5 days, because you've already eliminated the days of Yom Tov, and you've eliminated Shabbos, which didn't fall on Yom Tov. So you have 8 minus the 2 days of Yom Tov minus Shabbos. That's only going to be 5 days. Upam Shushisha, sometimes it'll be 6 days. Could go in Shechol Yom Tov Rishon b'Shabbos, the Pashul Shisha Shel Chol HaMoed. When Yom Tov falls out on Shabbos, let's say first day Yom Tov falls out on Shabbos, you have 6 days of Chol HaMoed. Tivizman Mikdash Einos and Yom Tov Sheni. Of course, in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, there was no 2-day Yom Tov. There's only 1 day of Yom Tov. And Rashi continues, Lulav Shiva, you're going to have 7 days of Lulav if the first day of Yom Tov falls on Shabbos. The Yom Tov Rishon, Dachi Shabbos, like we said. If the first day of Yom Tov falls on Shabbos, you actually still have the mitzvah of Lulav. Ushar kol hayomim shechol behenaf. Any of the other days where Yom Tov Rishon falls, and if Yom Tov Rishon falls on any other day besides Shabbos, Benim ze Shabbos b'chol shel moed, and Shabbos comes on a chol moed, lo dachi. So then you don't do the mitzvah of Lulav. And Rashi points out, v'avagav dechol shivahu min haTorah. Even though all 7 days are are a doraisa, are min haTorah. They're doraisa to have lulav. But mikdash, when you're in the Beis HaMikdash, lo dochi. Still is not going to be docha. Shabbos, let's say, fell on Chol HaMoed. Even though there's a 7-day mitzvah of lulav, you don't do lulav on that day, on Shabbos. Kedamrin in time of a Gemara. That's going to be explained in the Gemara why only the first day we do it, but not on the other days. V'chein arava b'shvi. Same thing is true in arava when it comes to the 7th day. We say in the Mishnah that if the 7th day falls on Shabbos, you still do arava, but only that situation. Uva Gemara mefarish ma'ishna shvi. The Gemara will explain why the 7th day is different. Mitzvahs lulav b'yom tov harishon shecholios b'Shabbos ketzad yom tov rishon shel chag Shecholios b'Shabbos kol ha'omo lichanas l'levein l'harabayis mirav Shabbos hachazonim. What are the chazonim? Shamoshim, meaning the shamish. Shayu sham l'tzarach yitzibur, meaning the people who worked in the Beis HaMikdash for the benefit of the public. Agabe ha'itzdava, on the benches. Rechava shel harabayis ha'isam mukefes itztabos. The area, the open area of harabayis was surrounded by benches. Leishiv sham, to sit there. U'misocheches l'malam imnei hagasham. It was also covered from above to protect from the rain. So again, they used to arrange the lulavs in that area. V'hazikeinim shedoagim shelo yidchafum l'machar. Now the elders, they didn't want to put it by the benches because they didn't want to get pushed the next day. V'yasmachu b'hakel hakol lakachas ish lulava. They didn't want to get trampled by everyone taking the lulav, so they would put theirs in a special chamber. U'melamdim bezin es kulam lomar im yavo lulavo lidechaveiro harei shalom matana. Like the Mishnah said, the bezin would teach everyone to say, if someone gets my lulav, it's a matana to him. Kedei shelo yeyetz lo gazav lo shal. So that way, it wouldn't be stolen, it wouldn't be borrowed, he'd be able to fulfill the mitzvah. But again, as the Mishnah concluded, when it started to get too dangerous, they made a takana. They said everyone should just do the mitzvah in their house. And the Gemara says, Amai. Why is this the case? Tiltal bi'alma v'lidchi Shabbos. What's the issue? The whole issue only is that it's tiltal bi'alma. It's just an issue d'rabbanan to carry it around. And that should be docha Shabbos, so you should always do it on Shabbos. As Rashi over here says, tiltal bi'alma, ein botzad iser, elakim metaltal eitzim. There's nothing wrong with carrying a lulav, except maybe the rabban of carrying wood. V'keim d'min ha'toru b'mikdash kol shiva. If there's a doraisa din that you have to take lulav all 7 days, lo masru. Why do they say that on Shabbos you shouldn't take lulav? Masiyog l'torah matzuba. What was the fence around the Torah that they're saying over here? Why is it ever on Shabbos that you don't? So we say on the first day, if the first day Yom Tov falls on Shabbos, you take the lulav. But all the other days, if Shabbos falls on any other day, then you don't take the lulav. Why is that true? It's a doraisa halacha. All 7 days in the Beis HaMikdash. So the Gemara says, Amar Rabba says, Gezeira shemi yitlenu biyado. There's a gezeira, maybe the person will take the lulav, v'yelech etzel baki lilmod, he'll take it over to an expert in order to learn the halachas properly. As Rashi over here says, lilmod ninuo o berchaso, he'll learn how to shake it, he'll learn how to make the bracha. That's what we're afraid of, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Aleph.